What up, reader fam? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you a TBR. A tuber, one of the most thrilling pieces of content to ever hit the YouTubes, where I tell you about a bunch of books that I want to read. What could be more thrilling than that? A book plot twist could never. It wishes it could, but it can't. I used to be a little booktube snob and be all, why do people enjoy these kinds of videos? But like, I enjoy talking about books that I want to read. Today's video is being sponsored by Quirk Books, and jokes aside, I love me a good TBR, even though truth be told, I think that sometimes these videos can curse my reading life. Like the second I say, I want to read this, my mind be like, hee ain't gonna happen for another 5 years. And I've also realized that I just hecka enjoy watching these kinds of videos as well. So today I'm gonna be sharing with you 5 books that are on my immediate TBR that I want to get to right away. These are books that I am prioritizing and will hopefully read in the near future, and by near future I mean like the next few weeks. Will I actually read them? Only time will tell. My mood reader side of me says no, but I'm gonna try to go up against my mood reader side in a full-on battle. I love a good standalone book. It's not a huge commitment like a series. It's a one and done sitch, and that's something I can commit to. The first book I have here is This Is Not the Jess Show. It's not my show, it's not my show, it's not my show. Hey, this book takes place in the 90s, and we are following a girl named Jess who is just doing everything she can to avoid the drama. Drama. She wants to save that drama for her mama. I feel that. I avoid the drama, but I want to read about it all day, every day. The more drama in a book, the more on board I will be. It just be like that. I can't stop me. Drama just keeps flinging itself towards Jess. From a crush she's developed on her best friend, oop, to her overprotective parents ruining her social life, oop, and her sister's declining health is sending her into a world of sadness. Things get really weird though when an iPhone drops out of her best friend's backpack. Which sure, doesn't sound that weird. I've dropped my fair share of iPhones in my day. Oh yes I have. Mind you, I've never cracked the screen, so at least there's that. But let's give a big ol' knock on some wood here so I don't jinx myself, because knowing me, I will now crack my iPhone screen. But it's the fact that it's the year of 1998 and that the iPhone won't exist for another 9 years. What does it mean? What's going on? What be happening up in here? It's a full-on mystery. Where's the Scooby-Doo squad when you need them? Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Where are you? This is the Booksplosion book of the month for the month of February. Now, obviously, it is not February, but our live show is going to be on March 6th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I've got a few days to read this. I'm a little behind on the reading life lately, let me tell you, but I'm gonna be binge reading this. I'm actually gonna be doing a 24-hour readathon with this book. This is gonna be one of the picks. I'm gonna be picking up some other books to read alongside it, and I'm really looking forward to that, even though it's hard for me to stay up a full 24 hours these days, but I'ma do it. So if you want to pick it up and read it with Booksplosion, again, our live show is this Saturday. It's a rather short book, so it should be easy to plow through if you want to pick it up and join us. So that's definitely why this is a priority for me, but it's also the fact that I am very intrigued by this concept. And I feel like it's going to bring on the trippiness and just have me questioning everything. It's supposed to have a very Black Mirror feel to it, which TBH, I've never watched Black Mirror, but I've heard it's a full-on trip of trippiness. And I hope that that's reflected in this book, because I love when books get weird. The more weird you get, the more you'll win me over. This one is interesting too, because personally, when I look at this cover, I'm like, it's going to be a happy-go-lucky contemporary story. But no, that ain't the case. It actually leans more in the mystery thriller lane, and I sort of love how deceiving the cover is. It looks so sweet, but something tells me it's gonna be a little sour on the inside. I'm sour candy, so sweet that I get a little angry, yeah. There's also the 90s element coming through, which I am absolutely, positively, 110% here for. I'm fully on board for a nostalgia trip. I actually really need to read more books set in the 90s. That's a thing that I need in my life. A thing that I've been deprived of. Next, the book On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. This is written in a series of letters from a boy to his mom who is unable to read. The letters uncover family history and secrets, all things that began far before he was born. It delves into the impact of the Vietnam War and his family's work to form a new life for themselves. I'm reading this currently with a friend. I say that, but we also haven't touched it in like 3 weeks, so listen, slow and steady wins the race, my friends. Albeit we're more on the slow side and less on the steady side. But we'll get there, and there will be confetti and cheers at the end. So we're taking our sweet time on this, baby. I've read a total of 2 chapters, but let me tell you, my friends, those 2 chapters blew me away. I was taken aback by the writing style, the story itself, and just how much there already is to unpack. The writing is fluffier than clouds and flowerier than flowers themselves, which I get isn't everybody's vibe, but it passes my vibe check. He has this really interesting way of formatting things where he'll drop something and then kind of like weave it in this really unique way and like tie it all together in a beautiful bow. I think it's one of those things where you kind of have to read it to understand what I'm dropping right now, but hopefully you get what I mean. And there's just so much to unpack with every paragraph, really. My friend and I talked so much just about the first 2 chapters alone. We probably talked for a solid hour over just the first 2 chapters. It probably doesn't help that we already talk way too much, but that's besides the point. Not me always calling myself out and attacking myself. What I'm getting at is that there is just just so much to discuss right off the bat with this book. I feel like this would be a perfect one for like a book club scenario because there's just so much to talk about. I also just love how personal this story is. I think I just really appreciate when people are able to open up in such a vulnerable way because that's not an easy thing to do at all. Nope. I'm somebody who has my guard up at all times. But reading this, you can just feel the love that's gone into it. It honestly radiates off of every sentence. I'm excited to get deeper into this one and to discuss it with my friend more. Next, Between Shades of Grey. Not to be mixed up with 50 Shades of Grey, okay? This takes place in 1941 and we follow Lena, who is prepping it up for art school, plunging in the dating pool for the first time, and just soaking up all that summer has to offer. But that comes to a halt real fast. The Soviet secret police barge into her house one night and deport her mother, and her younger brother. Their world is completely changed when they're shipped off to Siberia. Her father has been sentenced to death in a prison camp, and all hope seems to be lost. We follow Lena as she fights not only for herself, but for the freedom of her family. She'll have to risk everything, but she's willing to risk it all for the ones that she loves. I love Ruta Sepetys. We stand Ruta Sepetys in this house. I think there's a bit of a stigma surrounding historical fiction, that it can often be boring or a snooze fest, which I don't really know why that is. Maybe it's because if you've never had a passionate history teacher, it might have turned you off from picking up a historical fiction book and discovering the joy that it can bring. Am I talking from personal experience? Who's to say? But reading Ruta's books and other historical fiction books has kind of opened my eyes to the power of this genre and just how there's still so much to learn and how that shouldn't be something to be intimidated by, but something to be incredibly excited about. I'd say this is probably her most famous novel. Like, the hype that is attached to this book is loco. I feel like this is the one that I hear people rave about the most. So for that reason, I'm definitely excited to see what all the buzz is about. But I'm also confident that I will love this one because I feel like Ruta Sepetys has become an author that I trust, which is not an easy thing to come by these days with me. I've had too many authors do me dirty. You love one book by an author, then you're severely let down by another book by them. Next, this book, New Waves. This story follows two people, Margot and Lucas, who work for a massive company and they feel like they are being taken advantage of in a plethora of ways. And they've had it, they've had enough, no more, goodbye Satan. They've hit their limit of being taken advantage of. So what do? They plot revenge. Can I get They decide that they're going to take the company's user database and make things messy. But when Margot dies in a car accident, Lucas is left to figure it all out on his own. And after Lucas does some digging on Margot, he realizes that he didn't know her at all. And he realizes that she had a lot of locked up secrets. This is a book that I actually started right at the beginning of the pandemic. And as you can imagine, that was a rough time for us all. So I ditched it and didn't read anything. Well, I read some things, but just not a lot of things because anxiety. There are a lot of things that sold me on this one. I love this idea of getting revenge on a big company, and I think that there's a lot to that. Like, the company is in the bad, and then on the other hand, I don't think that the choices that Margot and Lucas are making are good either. You know? You feel? You get me? So it's kind of one of those situations where really nobody in this equation is good. But I'm still most definitely going to be rooting for Margot and Lucas. Let's be real here. I guess the other thing that really truly won me over for this book is the kind of complicated friendship. I love that trope where somebody dies and they've got just tons and tons of secrets that nobody knew about. And it's like, well, shoot, oop. I didn't know this person at all, huh? Okay then. Let me just figure out all these complicated things they left me. Finally, the last book on my list is King and the Dragonflies. King believes that his brother Khalid has turned into a dragonfly after he passed away, and Khalid still finds himself in King's dreams. King's family is completely transformed by grief, and he must do everything he can to keep them together, while also struggling with his own secrets that he's keeping, one of them being the fact that he's gay. I have not read a middle grade book in a long time. It's been too long, and I just have been craving one. Like, the reader's stomach has been a grumbling, and I need to give into that craving. There's just something so wholesome and pure about reading a middle grade book every now and then. I wanted to pick this one up in particular because the premise reminds me of The Astonishing Color of After, one of my all-time favorite books, and I wanted to see how similar they kind of were, and just seeing what fresh ideas this author brought to a concept like that. Also, the other selling point, I'm going to be annoying and repetitive, like I always am. We love a broken record. I'm trying to change, guys. I'm trying to not be a full-on cliche, but it deals with grief, and I just want to see how it tackles it. And that's that. Send tweet, retweet, the end. Those are 5 books that I'm looking forward to getting to here pretty soon. I'm definitely gonna be reading This Is Not the Jess Show, like ASAP, that 24-hour readathon. Here we go. Wish me luck. I need all the luck I can get. You guys should let me know down below in the comments if you have read any of these books and what your thoughts are on them. I'd love to hear from you in regards to that, but I also want to know, what was the last standalone book that you read and what were your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, be sure to go and hit that like like button. If you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and hit that bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day is bright, that tomorrow is brighter. Keep reading what your heart desires, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye, yo!